In October 2023, a quiet but highly revealing cyber incident took place in Philippines, involving one of the country's largest government health insurers, PhilHealth. Unlike globally famous attacks that make headlines for weeks, this one spread rapidly at first, then faded from international attention. Yet it exposed a deeply important reality about cybersecurity in developing nations. The group behind the attack was known as Medusa ransomware. They were not targeting global superpowers or massive tech giants this time. Instead, they focused on a public institution responsible for managing healthcare coverage for millions of citizens. The attack began in a way that has become increasingly common, a vulnerability in the system that had not been properly patched. There was no dramatic breach, no cinematic hacking sequence. Instead, the attackers identified a weak point, an outdated system exposed to the internet, and used it as their entry. Once inside, they moved laterally through the network. Their goal was not immediate destruction, but control. They explored databases, accessed internal systems, and most importantly, located sensitive personal data. A major breach doesn't require a genius. It only requires a single overlooked update. Security is found in the maintenance we often ignore. PhilHealth stored vast amounts of information: names, addresses, identification numbers, and medical-related records. For attackers, this kind of data is extremely valuable, not just for ransom, but also for potential resale or exploitation. After gaining sufficient access, the attackers launched the ransomware phase. Systems were locked, operations disrupted, and employees suddenly found themselves unable to access critical tools. The organization was effectively paralyzed. Then came the demand. The attackers requested a ransom in exchange for restoring access and preventing the leak of stolen data. This double extortion tactic is a defining feature of modern ransomware. Victims are pressured by system disruption and public exposure. PhilHealth refused to pay. This decision was significant. In many cases, organizations quietly pay to minimize damage. But here the refusal led to consequences. The attackers began leaking portions of the stolen data online, proving they had real access and increasing public pressure. For citizens, the impact was immediate and personal. Sensitive information that people trusted a government institution to protect was now at risk. For the organization, the attack exposed not just a technical failure, but systemic issues: limited cybersecurity investment, outdated infrastructure, and slow response mechanisms. What made this case particularly notable was not its scale, but its context. In developing countries, organizations often operate under tight budgets. Cybersecurity may not be prioritized compared to urgent public needs like healthcare, education, or infrastructure. This creates an environment where even basic vulnerabilities can remain unaddressed for long periods. The attackers understood this. They did not need cutting-edge techniques. They relied on timing, opportunity, and the likelihood that defenses would be weaker. In many ways, the creativity of the attack was in its strategic targeting rather than technical complexity. The aftermath triggered investigations and public criticism. Questions were raised about data protection, government responsibility, and the readiness of national institutions to face modern cyber threats. The PhilHealth incident serves as a reminder that cybercrime is no longer concentrated in wealthy or highly digitized nations. It is global, adaptive, and increasingly focused on environments where defenses are uneven. And perhaps most importantly, it shows that in cybersecurity, The gap between small oversight and major crisis can be dangerously small.